It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, December 17th. Thanks for being here, everyone. I hope everyone's doing fantastic on this Tuesday. We are, you know how I feel about Tuesdays. Tuesdays feel like a 2 out of 10. Okay. I'm not a Tuesday person. I'm a Monday person. I'm a Thursday, Friday person. Tuesday, Wednesday really feel like a struggle for me, but it's okay. We are getting there. Okay. We're getting to the good days of the week. Remember, this is the final full week of Daily Dose of Donna in the year 2024. So we've really got to soak it all up. We've got to, really, really feel every single moment and enjoy it. For everyone that is here, welcome in all my loves. All my loves. Is Zach here in the comments? I'm so excited for everyone that is here. Welcome on in. Welcome. We are going to talk about so much today, you guys. We're going to talk about Allie moving out of James' house finally. We're also going to talk about how Jay-Z is really removing himself as a connection to Diddy, which, makes sense because that's how people work in this world. They're fair weather friends. They pretend that you're best friends with people when they have power and when they have money and when they have white parties and they have all that. And then the second that they get thrown into jail and get 475,000 people, committing, like accusing them of disgusting crimes, they all of a sudden, well, I don't know you. I don't know you. We're also going to get into the Brianna chicken fry. I can't. The Brianna, Grace O'Malley Barstool drama that I luckily found out so much about yesterday. I think we may talk about Jessica Simpson looking like a version of herself that is not like it's shocking. Ozempic, it's a wild drug, y'all. It's a wild drug. Everyone, let's get into it. This is your daily dose of Diddy on a drone. Zach is trying to get me in trouble already. There's something about Zach Peter. Forget something about her. There's something about Zach Peter that he just, you know what? Forget Zach Peter. We're not talking. This show is called Daily Dose of Donna. He has hijacked enough of my shows in the last few weeks. Oh, Diddy wants to talk about Hannah Kobayashi. I have put her on a drone. Now, if you guys don't know about the Hannah Kobayashi drama, what the hell? Excuse my French, but what the hell? What in the damn world happened with Hannah Kobayashi? I'm kind of pissed. And I don't want to necessarily create drama for that family more so than they've already had. But does anyone feel a little bit taken advantage of with that family? So just to give you guys a little bit of an update or a little bit of a drama about it, but I mean, a little bit of a recap. I talked about this a lot more on Patreon, but Hannah Kobayashi was that missing 30-year-old woman who flew from her hometown in Hawaii, landed at LAX, and then went missing. She was supposed to get on a flight to New York City, went missing, dropped off her phone here at LAX. And so her family wasn't able to contact her, and she was spotted at all these different random places in Los Angeles, and then no one could find her. And after a strenuous, crazy police involved, all these people GoFundMe search, 2 weeks after, her dad crazily and sadly and heartbreakingly committed suicide, jumped off a parking lot. A 2-story parking lot at LAX. How tragic is that? Because he was devastated. This is what we're seeing, devastated over the search, because apparently he was going through Skid Row. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever gone through Skid Row, and I have never on foot gone through Skid Row, but just driving through Skid Row, it is the worst of the worst. So he was apparently searching through Skid Row looking for his daughter, and probably his brain went to the worst places, ended his own life over this. Meanwhile, a few days later, oh whoops, there she is on camera walking herself to the bus station, walking into Tijuana just a couple days after she went missing. Oh, there she is. She's in Mexico, I guess. Search is off. She's voluntarily missing, her family says. And then here she is last week, live here on this show. She gets found. She's discovered, the attorneys say, for the family. And then as of yesterday, Hannah Kobayashi, she's back in the US. There's a picture of her hugging her aunt. She had no idea what was going on because apparently in Mexico, there's no internet. She just went to Mexico and never once checked the internet, never once looked at the news, never once. That's it. So that's it. So that's it. Where's the Reddit pages on her? I don't understand. Okay, so her family, I don't look. I can understand her family has gone through enough. But it's people like this that upset me because this woman, and truthfully, if she went on her own accord, on her own choice, if she decided, I'm dropping off my phone and I'm just deciding to do my own thing at 30 years old, and I'm not telling my sister who cares about me, I'm not telling my mom and my dad who cares about me, I'm just going off into Mexico. That's on you, sis. You've messed up. You are a bad human being because you're sending your entire family and the people that love you into legitimately cuckoo land. Your dad ended his life allegedly over the fear of never seeing you again. The world went to a tizzy. You wasted millions of dollars of police resources. Los Angeles was like, on a search. The sister probably didn't sleep for weeks. Parents didn't sleep. You were just down in Tijuana drinking margaritas? If Zach Peter's still here, one margarita, let me open my legs. I don't get it. So, like I said, and I said this at the beginning, and let me tell you, I don't know if this was an intentional, attention seeking behavior, or a lot of you guys do believe that maybe this was some sort of a mental health break or a psychotic break, or, just needing to get a break from her family or whatever. But regardless, this is like, what punish people like that waste resources? At some point, do we like take it out on the person who actually wastes resources looking for missing people? I guess there was also another person who went through this, also a dad who said he was missing or went missing in a kayak incident, and then ended up faking his own death and like was living an entire other life. There was a dad about it. I can't remember the name of the dad, but someone did. Um, yeah, Pamela said this is worse than the guy who faked his own death and left his family. I mean, I don't know what's worse. They're all bad, but Andrew says in time they'll charge her. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but the whole thing is just so mind-blowing to me that this is an actual real life thing that she and it almost feels like the family is like, she's home, you guys, she's home. And I'm like, she's home? There's not one part of me that is excited for that family right now. If I was that sister, I would look at her like, you killed dad. Do you blame the daughter for killing the dad forever? Okay, yes, as of yesterday, Hannah Kobayashi breaks silence to claim she was unaware of everything after vanishing across Mexican border. I've been to Mexico. Mexico is not like in the middle of a jungle. It's not like, the show Lost where you fall out of a plane and you have no resources. Mexico, Vicky is in Mexico. Woohoo! There's TVs in Mexico. What do you mean you literally did not know anything? On December 15th, she came back into the United States. Oh, the focus now is on her healing. not her family. My focus is on the dosers healing that have gone through these stories. Zach wants to know, did she fall out of a coconut tree? That is the real question. She probably did, actually. I do believe there are some coconut trees there. She says, I was unaware of everything that was happening in the media while I was away, and I am still processing. Good. Enjoy processing. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound old here, but is this the new generation? Is this the TikTok generation that they say? We got to process. I disappeared. I caused my dad's suicide, but let me process. I am a boomer. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm too young to be a boomer, but I do feel old because yesterday I just explained on my stories that I had to Google what FAFO meant. And if you know what FAFO means, you are officially cooler than me. I had to Google it because I'm just going to be honest. Ray, she texted me the other day, FAFO. And I was like, right. And then I Googled it because I had no idea what it was. FAFO. I was very proud of myself once I Googled it and figured it all out for myself. Apparently, they're going to return all the GoFundMe money. So that's good if they didn't already spend it. And there you go. And this woman already has been missing before. All these old classmates have come out. The point is, at what point do LAPD or police officers take these things seriously and say, like, this is a missing case that we actually need to, go look into? Or maybe this is just some girl that's just like an attention seeker, or just some girl that wants to like disappear for a little bit. I just think there should be a rule. As of right now, we need to decide if you want to take a break from life, if you want to take, a hiatus from the world, if you want to eat, pray, love in Mexico, in Fiji, and Bali, or whatever, you should be able to do that. But you do need to leave a note. You need to tell someone, one person, just let one person know, post a TikTok, whatever it is. Just say, I'm taking a break. Please don't look for me. That's all. Save the world that attention because she did this intentionally. You don't leave the world. You don't put these. She had these notes. I'm going to New York. I'm going to do this. I'm seeing this show. I'm doing this. She was setting people up to look for her. And if she's playing this off, like, I had no idea. Sorry. Let me process this. Okay. I'm not letting you process. I'm processing you. I need to process. Okay. Let's move on to someone else that's pissing me off today. I'm activated. I'm Dorit. I think that's why I like Dorit this season. When we watch these trailers of Dorit, really honestly, just like losing her mind, I think we all feel like Dorit in 2024, don't you? Like we all feel just like, I'm not in the place for this, Satan. I did. I did. I do need a cigarette, Pamela B. Calma. I need a cigarette and Anne Hathaway to tell me to calma. Where is Anne Hathaway these days? Someone did post a picture of Anne Hathaway in a dress, exactly that same colorful dress that Bronwyn wears in her confessional. You know, that like, it's a cute dress, actually. Not the confessional look where Bronwyn has like a line above her eyelids, that with the fluffy dress. It's the other cute dress that she wears. And Anne Hathaway's wearing the dress. And I realized Anne Hathaway is Bronwyn's inspiration. They're very similar in all ways. I can see Bronwyn going to a party and saying, Calma. And now I get it. I have discovered why Bronwyn irks me. Because Bronwyn and Anne Hathaway are similar. They're cut from the same cloth. Don't you guys get that vibe? Like I can see Bronwyn getting out of a car and paparazzi being there, or like fans being there at BravoCon 2025. And she's going to get out of the car and she's going to be like, calma, calma. I will sign everyone's autographs. Just give me a moment. Calma, calma. Okay, let's move on to another story. Yeah. Jessica Simpson does not look like Jessica Simpson, and I'm concerned. Now, I don't want to be overdramatic here, but Jessica Simpson posted a picture of herself yesterday. And when I first saw it on Instagram, I immediately said Tracy Tudor. And if you know what Tracy Tudor looks like lately, I mean, Tracy Tudor has always been incredibly slim and small and petite. And that's just Tracy Tudor's look. But I'm going to show you what Jessica Simpson's Instagram post looked like. And I posted it on my stories last night. And a lot of you guys agreed when you first saw it. Like, it's really, really overwhelmingly shocking how skinny and small Jessica Simpson looks like, to the point where so many people actually DM'd me back saying that can't be her. But it is her. This is what Jessica Simpson looks like right now. And okay, it could be like a 0.5 picture. You know how when you do like the zoomed out picture, it really, really, really is a slimmed down version of her. Her face looks skinny. But what's crazy about this is I posted this on my stories, and I got a DM from a friend of mine who works here, not who works, who lives here in LA. And she said, what's crazy about this is I just saw her at Nordstrom last week, and she looks even skinnier in person. And I said, no way. That's not possible. And she said she looked, well, I don't want to be mean about this, but she said she actually looked awful. And I said, why? What do you mean? She goes, well, she had no makeup on. Her skin just looked bad. Her lips looked huge, and her bag was double the size of her. She was wearing a huge, huge leather bag, but she's so, so skinny in real life. And I don't think we've ever seen Jessica Simpson this small. And look, she's going through a divorce, right? She's definitely going through a divorce. We know that. It's not, I don't know if they've actually confirmed it, but like, it's confirmed, right? Now, I thought she looks exactly like to the T like Tracy Tudor, because Tracy Tudor, look how much she looks like Tracy Tudor right now. Because Tracy Tudor has always been so slim, but in my opinion, they are like identical. Look at this video of Tracy Tudor with the hair and the body, and they're just so similar looking. So maybe they were all just going to the same doctors. I mean, I'm happy for Jessica Simpson if she's happy. She's coming out with a new album, apparently. I don't know. I liked Jessica Simpson's book. I found it really oh, Pamela's saying, who's Tracy Tudor? Tracy Tudor is on $1 Million Listing, or she was on $1 Million Listing. I think that show's canceled. It's not official, but I'm pretty sure it's canceled. I think that Jessica Simpson, you know how they say, and this may be too, I don't know if I want to go there. Well, I'll tell you this from my sources that go to school, whose families go to school with Jessica Simpson's family. Jessica Simpson, oh, it's not canceled. Josh Altman just quit. Okay, so maybe it's not canceled. I don't know. Jessica Simpson's family, they all go to the same school as the Kardashian kids. And I think that's been like a known thing, because the Kardashian daughter, Kim Kardashian's daughter, North, and Jessica Simpson's daughter, sorry, the oldest daughter, are friends. Remember, they had that like big birthday party and they all went on some plane together and whatever. From what I've heard from various families that go to that school, I've heard from many, many different people that I know that there's one more present parent, and that's the dad. Eric is apparently much more present as a parent than Jessica. I'm not saying that she's not an active parent. I just know that as a school parent, he's definitely more present than her. I'm sure she's a good mom. I have no idea who she is as a person. I've never, ever crossed paths with Jessica Simpson. Tell me if you guys have in the comments. Let me know if you have ever met her. Is she kind? Is she nice? Let me know. We do know that Jessica really struggled with addiction in the past. She used to drink. She used to drink heavily. In fact, she spoke about it in her really, really well-written memoir. She spoke about how she was a drinker, and she would start her mornings with alcohol. She would start her mornings with vodka. as a mom when she was still drinking, and she no longer drinks, which is amazing. And I hope that she's healthy. I mean, that's the best you can say, is that you hope that she's healthy. She looks like she's getting her career back, and she's doing that. Clearly, she still has her business line, Jessica Simpson Clothing and Shoes. I think is like $1 billion business. That's good. So we'll see what happens with Jessica Simpson. I know they have 3 kids. I saw a picture of Eric, her husband. I think they're officially still married, out with the kids, the younger kids, the other day. So hopefully everything's good over there. Another little microdose story, a few microdose stories before we get into some James Kennedy stuff. Captain Jason, you guys, this broke my heart. Did you hear this? Captain Jason has skin cancer, melanoma. And I actually sent the story over to Teddy Mellencamp this morning. I'm sure she saw it because I'm sure many people have sent this. But our love, Captain Jason, and we all love Captain Jason. I think no matter who you are, even if you don't know Captain Jason, you have to know that how amazing and how beautiful he is. Captain Jason, Below Deck Down Under Captain, which is coming back soon, I heard, is has been diagnosed with skin cancer, but he is getting a second opinion to determine the severity. He went on Instagram Monday to share a video of himself saying he got a biopsy, which is a procedure that removes a tissue sample to determine any abnormalities. And it did come back with melanoma. Melanoma, of course, is a form of skin cancer. But he spoke about that he's getting a second opinion to get the severity. He's in Australia. He said the doctors are fantastic. He has to get a second biopsy, and he said he's a little anxious, or he appeared slightly anxious because he's not going to get the answer until after Christmas. And this is unfortunately the reality. He says that, he never used to wear listen to this. He says that he has worked on yachts for most of his life, and he admits that he never used to wear sunscreen because of chemicals. For any of you guys that do not wear sunscreen because of chemicals. See, this is the problem. I think so many people out there are trying to be natural that they scare themselves away from chemicals on their skin, and they don't use sunscreen. And I am all about trying to, stay natural in many ways, but you have to weigh the benefits versus the negatives. And my opinion is that sunscreen is more important than no chemicals in your skin. You know what I mean? And that's obviously a little tricky, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to go there. But my personal opinion is using sunscreen for my family, at least. So he says because of chemicals, he would only dab zinc on his nose. But since that, he has changed. He says there are so many products out there that are chemical free now, which are great. So make sure you throw on sunscreen, get shade, and cover yourself up and enjoy your day at the sun. He said he used to think he was resistant to the damaging effects of the sun since he spent most of his life outdoors, which is also, I think, a pretty big myth. He said, I love the sun and its health benefits are evident, but be wise and like everything about life. It's about balance. Choose your battles. With a diagnosed melanoma biopsy, I now have an anxious wait. What I thought was a skin spot turned in just 6 months. Early detection is the key. I am a huge, huge proponent of going to a dermatologist. I go I think I go twice a year now. You guys can't tell from here, but I have very weird skin. I've got lots of different discolorations all over my skin. I'm constantly going to the doctor. I'm very fair, and I got a lot of sun as a younger teen, and in college I used to be obsessed with just laying out. So now I'm paying the price. And I got so much sun damage as a teen on my chest, and I wish more than anything that I took it more seriously because it's ugly in my opinion. So I'm a big proponent of telling people to go to the dermatologist, and it's always scary to go, but there's nothing better than when you walk out of there and they're like, you're in the clear. It's just like going to the dentist. It sucks going, and then you're done. But I just had a friend that had to go through melanoma. She had melanoma surgery, and it was obviously Teddy also just got a clear check yesterday, and she was crying on her Instagram about it yesterday. But I think it's one of those things, like my girlfriend that just went through it, she had to wait weeks, like painful weeks. And finally, when she had the surgery, she has a big scar here. And then she had to wait even more weeks because they had to check and make sure it didn't spread to her lymph nodes. She's a mother. I mean, it was horrible. And then, of course, she's okay now, but it's not worth it. Like, you gotta go and get checked. And that's like all kinds of cancers, right? Okay, that's my PSA for today. Let's move on to let's talk about Jay-Z. Jay-Z. Let's talk about James Kennedy. I'm always talking about James and Jay-Z at the same time. Let's talk about James Z. James Kennedy could only wish that he was like Jay-Z, right? James Kennedy is finally moving Allie out. Shockingly, he's a hands-on type of guy. Get it? It was meant to not be a joke. It's true. He's a hands-on guy. We can tell. James Kennedy is trying to be the stand-up man and moving his girl Allie out of his house, according to all of the paparazzi yesterday. Right after I wrapped the show yesterday, he started moving Allie out. And I'm actually surprised by this. Why? Number one, I'm actually surprised Allie is doing this. I think that it's very telling that she's doing it. But I have a really bad feeling. I have a bad feeling about it, and I'll tell you why. Number one, no one was helping. No one was helping her at all. Just James. There was no moving truck. Just him, just her, and just a car full of stuff. It's a bad vibe, and I'm going to tell you guys something that I have a bad feeling. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But my gut inclination is that this is just for show. Thank you, Lee. You said it exactly at the same time as I was thinking it. This is a PR stunt. This is a moment in time. This is show face that I am doing the right thing. There were no tears. This was not high drama. This was just, let's help. Let's do what we need to do to show that you're doing what you're doing, because you have to do this. You cannot leave him. You can't stay in that house because you look like an idiot, Allie. You have to leave him. You have to show you're doing the right thing to actually like maintain some sense of, ability to like have people still respect you. She pushed enough stuff in her tiny little car, which would last you a week. Okay. There was not a box. It was like tiny little knickknacks. In fact, when I first saw what they were moving into the car, I thought she was packing up Christmas gifts. It didn't look like enough. It was enough to move like to a hotel for a week. You know what I mean? Again, like I said, he's helping her. So this is not like my friends coming and like saving me and getting me the hell out of your house. If she really wanted to leave, she would have, in my opinion, I think she would have probably left over the weekend when he was out of town. It would have been like done, right? A lot of you guys are saying that there's the cat that's going and this and that. I don't know. I didn't see the cat litter box. I saw him carry a hamper. If there was a cat litter box, that's maybe she does not want to go anywhere without her cat. Maybe that's possible that she is bringing her cat. I really do. I can tell you, and honestly, come back to me in a couple of weeks or a month or however long this is going to be when she moves back into that house. She's going to move back into that house. I hope I'm wrong. I hope when she's gone and she starts to get a little separation, and hopefully she has the right people that are with her, hopefully her parents, hopefully her friends, hopefully good people around her that are going to talk some sense into her. Hopefully all she'll need is a little separation to get a little bit of like, wait, what am I doing? What was I thinking? And then she'll kind of come to her senses on her own. But right now, in this moment, I think her plan is to come back. I think that's what I think. We'll see. But I could be wrong. Look, none of us have the future in our hands. That's just my gut feeling about the situation. I don't think he would help her move out if this was a for good move. Right? He's like, I'm going to help you. This is a plan. This is their attorneys, or I'm not attorneys, maybe attorneys. I think this is the managers all kind of speaking on speaker. This is what we do. This is a PR move right now. This is what we do. He's going to help you get your shit in the car No one else will be there. We don't want it to look like a tragic, helping Allie, saving her moment. This is like, we're choosing to do this together. We're a united front. We're going together. We're moving you out. Everything's fine. There's no fighting. There is no crying in baseball. Notice no one was crying. Everything's fine. So I'll try to see. I'll try to see what will happen. The plan was that they were going to be together for the holidays. Why would she go into an Airbnb here in LA? Why wouldn't she go home for the holidays? That's what I would do if I were her. Where is she from again? If I were her parents, I would say, I don't want to come to LA. Come home. Like, stay in your childhood bed. Let's like hang out at home. That's what I would be. Okay. Interesting. Love your guys' comments. I mean, a lot of you guys have some interesting takes on this, right? I heard on another pod that her parents kind of fund her life and they wanted her to move out for a while. My ex helped me move. I started out with just a few things. Sometimes it takes time to get everything. Mary says she's prepping to go to Ohio for a couple of weeks, plus staying with her family. She definitely isn't leaving. Christina says, if this was my daughter, I would be like, how many people can be lying about this man? Yeah, where's her squad? Exactly. Josh says she usually has a Taylor Swift squad to pull her out of situations. Where's that squad? They're nowhere to be found, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think I feel it in my gut. Because I do, and like I said yesterday, I don't want to in any way feel like this is a blaming Allie situation. But Zach said something interesting on his show earlier when I was watching it about how people are really, really careful right now not to blame Allie. And I said that yesterday too, that I don't want to in any way feel like I'm blaming Ariana. Someone said Ariana in the comments, Allie. I don't want to feel like I'm blaming Allie in any way, and I'm not. But I also don't want, like, the Bravo creators right now are very nervous, right? Like, we don't want it to look like we're blaming Allie. We don't want to be, intense on Allie about this. But it's also important to give like some reality on if you were in Allie's life right now as a friend, as her friend, what would you say? Because I can tell you right now, Zach played a really important clip on his podcast of Stassi talking to Kristen. And that's a true friend. A true friend is not someone that is an enabler that basically says, I think the drones are in my backyard. No, really, who's here? Uh, a tr- basically what you're A true friend is not someone that's like, I love you and whatever you decide to do, I'm going to support you. In this case, like, I can tell you right now that if this was happening to my best friend and we actually have proof in the police report with what my best friend said, I would say, I got your back, but I don't support you going back and living with that person under these circumstances. I don't want you to go back and live with that person. I don't think you're safe living with that person. So tell me what you need from me and I'm going to keep you safe. Do you need to stay in my bed? Do you need my husband to be with you at your house when you get your stuff? Do you need us to go on a girls trip? Like, what do you need? That's what I'm going to say. What's another interesting comment here? Where the hell are the VPR girls that have been so vocal about everything under the sun, about everything? Where are the freaking girls? Where is Lala? Where is Sheena? Where is Ariana? Where is Katie? Where is Andy Cohen? Where is Lisa Vanderpump? Where are they? Where's Jax Taylor? Where's Brittany Cartwright? It's kind of shocking how quiet everyone is. Not even a word of support for Allie. Nothing. Nothing. I'll tell you where Lisa and Ken were this weekend. They were backstage at a Jim Jeffries show with my friend. They went to a comedy show on Saturday night. I don't know. What a mess. What a mess. James, the number one guy in the group. Oh, the number one freaking wife beater in the group. How about that? How about that? DJ James wife beater. Gross. Sheena has released a podcast since this happened. I mean, I saw she released a podcast with who was in it? Wasn't it like Gretchen and Leva? So random. Speaking of, I'm not a fan of Leva. Did I say that out loud? Did I say that out loud? Speaking of protecting bad men, we can talk to Face Reality 16 about that. Yeah, like where's Katie Maloney? This would be a great moment for Katie Maloney to speak up. Has Katie released a podcast with Dana since all this went down? Katie would not give two shits about protecting Bravo in this case. Would she? Would Katie give two shits about protecting Bravo? Katie seems like the kind of girl that would be such a girl's girl, right? You guys all say girls, girls. These are girls, girls. Aren't these girls, girls? Why are they not girls, girls all of a sudden? Their girl, Allie, just got beat by their friend James. Beat, quote unquote, alleged, thrown down, arrested for it. Nothing? Not a word? I don't know, guys. It's giving hypocritical. Wait, are we saying that they're not perfect? Bravo stars are not perfect? Ariana and Katie, they're not perfect? Can't believe it. I can't, you guys. I can't. I can't take it. All right, let's move on to another really, speaking of perfect person, Jay-Z. We have to talk about this. Jay freaking Z. The balls on this guy. Now, I'm not going to talk about this lawsuit because I have my thoughts on this lawsuit that has gone south. Remember the 13-year-old girl, the 13-year-old victim from 20 years ago, 24 years ago, that lawsuit is getting it's imploding. But I have my feelings on that, and they may feel conspiracy theory like. So I don't really want to go so deep into that because I have no proof on it. I don't know. My gut feeling is that why have all the other lawsuits kind of stayed intact and that one has fallen apart at the seams? I have a feeling that someone whose team is part of the person whose name rhymes with baby or KD, that team probably had something to do with the fact that that lawsuit is falling apart at the seams. That's just a guess, okay? That lawsuit is going to be done. There's too many inconsistencies. Jay-Z is probably going to be fine with that lawsuit. I think Jay-Z is doing everything in his possible power right now to make sure that he's playing whack-a-mole with anyone that's saying his name right now. I'll probably get whack-a-mole right now, which will make a lot of you haters happy, right? Like as of right now, I probably will get someone just coming on the top and I'll probably get knocked out. Okay? It's possible. It's possible. But Jay-Z's attorney comes out yesterday. Now you can't make this shit up. Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro. Remember, this is the guy that's like protecting the mayor and his fraud, and he was protecting Alec Baldwin. I wouldn't say this guy is he's a great attorney, clearly. But I wouldn't say he's like the most stand-up dude, probably. His lawyer is now distancing Jay-Z from Sean Combs. He says they're not friends. They have no close association. He actually spoke to reporters yesterday and says Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, but just like in all professions, people know each other. Okay? At music awards, I mean, they go to random basketball games, but that's just how professions work. There's no close association between them. That's all there is. I mean, he doesn't know anything about the charges or the allegations against him. He's in jail. Jay-Z doesn't even know Diddy's in jail, maybe. Should we tell him? Hey, Jay-Z, your boy Diddy's in jail. Did you know? So should someone tell him? I don't know if Beyonce knows. Do you think Beyonce knows that Diddy's in jail? We should probably tell her. Someone tweet her right now. Let her know. He has nothing to do with the cases against Diddy. There's nothing more to say, guys. This is really a moment. Where's Zach? This is really a moment. Did you think that the world just fell out of a coconut tree? Oh, what kind of planet are you on? Alex Spiro, that's the attorney, and the rest of this is gaslighting 101, right? This is trying to pull the Mandela effect. This is basically saying, what are you talking about? I don't have a daily podcast called Daily Dose of Donna. What are you guys talking about? You're not watching this right now. You're watching Days of Our Lives. I'm not here. This is not a show. This is not a real podcast. This is not a YouTube show. You're watching a soap opera right now. What are you talking about? We have so much footage and so many clear, there's proof. The proof is in the pudding. We have proof of Jay-Z and Diddy being friends, being close, hanging out together, collaborating on songs, collaborating in business, being in meetings together, going on vacations together, spending time together at events, award shows, hugging, hanging out together, mentioning each other. These boys they were boys. Did you guys ever not think of Diddy and Jay-Z as being friends? There was no drama between them. This was no East Coast, West Coast shit. They were friends. But the same thing happened to Kanye. The same thing happened to Epstein. The same thing happened to Trump. The same thing happened to, who's the other one that just recently? Weinstein. Anytime anyone gets on the bad side of the media, anytime anyone gets the most, gets kind of pushed into the negative side of media, everyone all of a sudden is like, I don't know them. Who are they? Even Bethenny Frankel, it happened to Bethenny. I remember when all of a sudden Bethenny was doing Bravo Reality Reckoning and she was the bad child of Bravo. All of the Bravo girls were like, I don't know her. I'm not friends with Bethenny. What are you talking about? I don't like Bethenny. This is the way it works. People turn on the people that get in trouble. People turn on the people that have bad reputations. People turn on the people whom people turn on. That's how it works. It's just oh, Patrice, you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you for the super sticker. It's just on Mean Girls, right? If you look at people that are bullied at high school or in elementary school, if someone gets bullied and all of a sudden is the odd man out, no one wants to be their friend. That's how it works. You take yourself away. But this is not the way you can't play that game when you have footage, when you have proof. I feel like there was episodes of Cribs when they were hanging out together. Right? Don't we have so much footage of them on TRL together on MTV? Show where's the receipts, proof, timeline, TikTok, do your thing. Speaking of, we actually may not have TikTok in a couple weeks. This actually may be a thing. So thank God you guys are here on YouTube because TikTok really may go away. But they are friends and Jay-Z is really pulling at all straws here. I have never seen Jay-Z right now is feeling So desperate. But this is going to piss Diddy off because Diddy is sitting in jail right now. He is not celebrating Thanksgiving. He is not celebrating Christmas. He is not doing anything right now. He is alone in a small, isolated cell. He is probably freaking out. He is probably desperate for anything possible that he can get out of jail. He can lower his sentence. He can do anything. And I have a feeling he is going to start naming names and he's going to do anything he can possibly do to allow himself to get any immunity or lower his sentence. And Jay-Z, this is going to piss Diddy off. This would piss me off. If all of a sudden I got thrown into jail and you guys said that you were not a doser, I'm naming names. Sorry, guys. I'm naming names. And yeah, you're going to be first, Josh. Just wait. Just you wait. All of a sudden, I get no more comments. My live watchers just like, meow. What should we talk about next? You guys tell me. Do we talk about Bethenny and the drones by show of hands? Do we talk about Bethenny and the drones or we talk about the Barstool sports drama? Bethenny or Barstool? They're both good stories. Ah, that felt good. To crack my back. You guys, you like this Tuesday? It's like such random stories. We're all over the place. I'm enjoying it though. Or do we talk about Kyle Richards' face at the party that he was at last night? Okay, let's do Bethenny fast. Drones and Bethenny. So obviously, as you guys know, the drones are taking over the world. Well, they're taking over America. And here's my thought. I did see a Twitter. I saw a Twitter. You guys wonder how old I am? I saw a Twitter. I saw a video that was tweeted 2 days ago or 3 days ago now, yesterday, that went crazy viral. And it's some guy that like used to work for the government and he's some like just regular old Joe. And he's like, I never create TikToks, but I just thought maybe I should talk about this. And this is probably kind of alongside what Bethenny was talking about, which basically was saying this is something interesting that all these radioactive weapons were gone missing years and years ago. And now these drones are out at night and they're searching. And the reason why these should be concerning is because these drones, and they're definitely drones. So anyone that's gaslighting you into believing that they're planes, we've seen the footage. Anyone that lives in New Jersey or on the East Coast, Connecticut, wherever you see them over your head, you can tell there's a difference between a plane and the lighting of planes and then a drone, which has like 4 legs, basically. They're huge. Lance owns drones. He flies drones all the time to shoot The Bachelor, to shoot all his shows. We see drones, like Lance's drones for TV shows are this big. These are drones that are the size of like a room, right? They're huge. They are out at night. And when they're out at night, what's happening here is that they're not drones have cameras on them. And most drones that have cameras on them, unless they have crazy night vision and they're set up for thermal vision, which is really hard and to set up for thermal vision, they're usually out there detecting something by this is what this video said, by almost like detecting by sense or smell, essentially, or like a detecting by like detecting for radioactive material, essentially, something along those lines. So that's the video I saw. And then I saw Bethenny talking about this. Now, Bethenny, well, I just had I think a drone's after us. Bethenny Frankel, bless her. She used to drive me crazy with all her like reality reckoning. But, I've come to like Bethenny because I've become a little bit of a tinfoiler as well. And, just call me Craig. And Bethenny is one of the only people in the mainstream, other than, some people in the news world, who are actually talking about this, like in the pop culture mainstream, because most people are not mentioning it. Most people are just like, our president told us not to worry about it, so I will not worry about it. But But if you live under these drones, and even if you don't live under these drones, but people are posting about it on TikTok or whatever, or on Instagram, or just like you're saying, it would be weird not to question, like, wait, but what is that? Because there are hundreds of them. And I even saw, shockingly, in my For You page yesterday, I even saw Carolyn Manzo's daughter, Lauren Manzo, even saying it yesterday. Like, this is weird. This is weird. When you're driving in the car, it's almost like dangerous because there are drones flying over your head. And when I'm driving home from my salon, she said, they're so low. They're like at tree level. They're not planes. That would scare the shit out of me. She said it was right above my driveway. I would freak the F out, you guys. I would be, and they're loud. Okay. So it would be weird not to question it. This is when you have to, as a human being, you should question things in life. And when your government just says, nothing to worry about here, that's when I start to say, like, but maybe we should. I don't know. Maybe we should. The point is that Jamie says you've been freezing ever since you mentioned Beyonce. Thank her fast. Thank you, Beyonce. Diddy's in jail, just in case your husband didn't tell you. So, Bethenny mentions this theory that she has a contact whose dad is in the Pentagon, and he would be remiss not to say, you should just mention this just in case. Like, maybe you should consider that there are these, radioactive weapons that are missing for all these years. And you may want to not be on the East Coast during this time, but no one's talking about it. And just like, are we the village idiots just sitting here, waiting for something to happen without knowing anything? And it was a very, very, the comment section is wild, right? And people are very offended by things that she says, just because she's questioning it, right? Because people don't want to ever question anything anymore. People feel like, no, how dare you question, what our government tells us? Just believe everything that they say. And I don't like that. I believe you can question it. And I understand also, it's dangerous to go in too much into like a conspiracy, right? You don't want to go too like into the crazy land, but you also want to be like, should I be protecting my family? Is there something I need to know? Right. And that just like, we should have learned our lesson, like after COVID and stuff. Like, we need to learn our lessons through these experiences and not run and like go crazy and just pile up on toilet paper and spray down our groceries. Anywho, I think that Mary says, I work for the Navy and trust me, no one is talking about it. Well, what does that mean? Is that good or bad? So I don't think that, okay. And also another question here says you can question it, but don't let it take over. There's not a lot you can do. 100%. I don't think that we should become preppers. I don't think we should like start building a shack or like a down under basement and like not go to school and not live your life. Like, I will not do that either. I just think it's an interesting narrative to start having conversations, to start talking about it. Right. And so I appreciate Bethenny bringing up the conversation in her Instagram because no one else is doing it. Really, no one else is. Everyone's just like, it's all good. Everything's fine. And people are saying, in the comments, just trust that they would tell us. The government would tell us if it was something we were worried about. And I disagree. I don't think that they would. And maybe it's to calm down and not release panic. But I do think there is a word or a way for a government to say, this is what we are doing right now is necessary for testing, or this is a planned response. We are working on our drones. We are planning this is a training, just something so people have an idea of what's happening in their, air space above them. Because the more people don't know is when people start to spiral, right? And that, I think, is where it comes from, right? It's like the lack of knowledge and the lack of information is where I think the world starts to spiral. Because when you don't know is when you start to make up things. Not me. I'm perfect, right? I know just kidding. I don't know shit. But I'm just saying, like, this is where the TikTok community and where the Twitter community and where all of the online conspiracies start, because no one knows anything. And I think that's the approach that is probably not the best. So Diddy probably knows the most about the drones. When do you guys think the government froze Donna? Thank you, Beyonce. I'm back. What do you guys think is the drone situation? If you had to guess, do you think we'll be fine? Do you think we can still have DozerCon? Do you think I can still go to Vegas? The question is, can we still go to Vegas? Like, can we still celebrate New Year's Eve? Is Andy Cohen going to be okay? Do we care about that? Anyway, I'm just, it's an interesting conversation. So Bethenny, bless Bethenny's heart, because she goes, you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but like, what else is new? Every day is a new day that you think I'm nuts. I appreciate her bringing it up. I really do. She's the only one that does it. Let's talk about Andy Cohen and his look lately on Watch What Happens Live. For all of you women that think Andy Cohen's a good-looking guy, for all of you gay men that think Andy Cohen's a good-looking guy, are we into this look? What is he doing with the turtleneck and the glasses for the last week? I just turned it on briefly last night. I'm like, is this a thing? Did he just like did his stylist say, hey, let's try to make you look real smart these days? What is going on? What is going on by it? Really interesting. Oh, you guys have a lot of important questions. You have a lot of important questions. Can we go to the Charger game at SoFi on Thursday? Important question. All important questions. I think you can, because it's here in LA. I haven't seen so many drones here. I think you're good. He's trying to look like Anderson Cooper. Really good point. Trying to look like Matthew Broderick. True. It's working. Okay. Oh, you think he looks really handsome? I don't like it either, Andrew. I think he's trying to be performative. He's looking like Jamie Foxx. He's manifesting, trying to look like Steve Jobs. Leslie says, how do the radioactive things correlate with the drones? Well, apparently these drones are searching for the radioactive material. That's what they're saying. Okay, let's move on. Last story, Barstool. Yeah, this is a cool story, and Andrew has helped me tremendously through this. But I watched Dave Portnoy's take on it, so I feel like I'm cool again. I have figured it all out. New tea, new drama. It's never a dull day over at Barstool. It's always an interesting story over at Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports and Brianna Chicken Fry. I think Brianna Chicken Fry needs to the fact that her name is Brianna Chicken Fry. We have a problem. What's her real last name again? Someone tell me. Lapaglia? Lapaglia. I feel the same way about Andy Cohen. He looks like a dork. Or as Kelly Dodd would say, he looks like a dork. He looks like a dork. Okay. I love my comments here. Have you subscribed to Daily Dose of Donna? Please subscribe here on YouTube. And also, if you're listening to the audio version of this hot mess, please follow along over on YouTube, on TikTok, don't go to TikTok. Who cares? That's going away. Go on Instagram at This Is Donna Bowling. Go on Patreon for extra episodes. Make sure to follow the Facebook group. And of course, on the audio, Spotify, all of that, jump on in. All right. Come on in over here, guys. The water's warm. This ain't no cold plunge. This ain't Texas. Thank you, Beyonce. Grace O'Malley and Brianna Lapaglia. Let's get into it. I'm going to get a lot of facts wrong, but I'm going to try. Grace was brought into Barstool Sports tell me if I'm saying anything wrong right now. Tell me right now, okay? I rely on a lot of you guys here because I am probably going to get some facts wrong. I did a deep dive for 5 seconds last night. All I know is that Brianna Lapaglia and Grace O'Malley had a podcast called Plan Brie a few years ago, and they brought it to Barstool Sports. That podcast stopped producing new episodes a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but it stopped. Grace O'Malley is a comedian. She is very funny. She goes on tour. She does Whitney Cummings stuff. She's kind of like your typical, just like funny, normal looking girl. While Brianna, chicken fried Brianna Lapaglia is more like your hot, sexy, like more. So just if you kind of want to visualize like the differences between them. Okay. Oh, it's only like 6 weeks ago it ended. Okay, cool. Fact number 1 wrong. Brianna Lapaglia, a little over a year ago, I've reported on this, started dating country music star Zach Bryan. Now we all know how that went. He was a douche, okay? He was an asshole. He was kind of like a James Kennedy, okay? We don't know how abusive he was, but we know how verbally abusive he was. We know how narcissistic he was. He was a piece of shit. And while they started dating, which was lasting about a year, apparently he was an asshole to Grace. Grace, her best friend since childhood, you guys are telling me. And it was Brie's podcast first, that Plan Brie podcast. She brought Grace on afterwards. And apparently, while they were doing this podcast, Grace was not a fan of Zach. Zach was not nice to Grace. And it caused a lot of drama between Brianna and Grace's friendship, as these things do. How many times do you have a best friend and you have a boyfriend, and that boyfriend doesn't like your best friend, or your boyfriend or your best friend doesn't like your boyfriend, and it causes drama, right? Because you don't know who to choose. Do you choose your boyfriend? Do you choose your best friend? What are you going to do? And it causes all this strife. But apparently, Zach was mean to Grace, and Grace didn't like Zach back. So they hated each other. And so what did Brie do? Most likely, it sounds like she kind of chose the asshole boyfriend, which was not the move, because you never choose the man over your best friend. It's bros before hoes if you're a guy, and it's chicks before dicks. That's what it is. I was like, girls before what? Girls before churls? No, it's chicks before dicks is what they say, right? So Zach was mean to Grace, and Grace and Zach hated each other. But obviously Grace is smart, because Zach has turned out to be the biggest POS in the world. Eventually, Zach and Brianna end up breaking up, and then hold on. Okay. Sisters before misters. There we go. Zach was mean. Okay. Then what ended up happening was they end up breaking up. Brianna and Zach end up breaking up. And during that time, that's when all of this crazy drama comes out, which takes over the internet in the most recent few weeks. That's where he gives her a $12 million offer to sign an NDA. And she says, F that. And she comes out and decides, I am going to expose this piece of shit for who he is. And she does. I'm going to talk about the fact that he was narcissistic, that he was abusive, that he was verbal, that he was mean, that he was jealous, that he was da 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 da. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm not really sure exactly what Grace's reaction was to the original breakup. And you can tell me during that. But oh, okay, this is important. During the time that Zach and Brianna were dating, Brianna was getting a ton of hate. This is important. And I did know this. The fans of Zach Bryan, and just in general, hated Brianna a lot, because people just don't tend to like, well, we know that on Reddit, etc. A lot of people just don't like a lot of people. And that's what Reddit is based on, just like really hateful, angry people. And so people were really hating Brianna, and Brianna was angry during that time that Grace O'Malley, who was getting off kind of scot-free during that time, never was standing up for Bree. So there was some anger brewing. Grace was never telling Brianna's haters to calm down. And Brianna was still dating Zach and was never kind of sticking up for Grace during her boyfriend and Grace going back and forth. Okay. Meanwhile, Brianna was doing this other podcast, BFFs, at the same time. The Plan Brie podcast stopped. She's doing BFFs. She gets really famous with the whole breakup before, with the Zach Bryan breakup. And something happened where all of a sudden, someone, according to Dave Portnoy this morning, something happened with a post. A fan had posted something where they wanted Plan Brie to come back, that podcast. And Brianna reposted a fan's post. This is according to Dave Portnoy, who's very, very much friendly and close with Brianna. So Brianna reposts this post. Apparently, this is all she did, was just repost this post. And Grace O'Malley posts like a 3-page, really long exposing post about how hurt she is, how this was never discussed to bring back the podcast, how she feels very left, very hurt by Brianna, how she feels very kind of pushed aside by Brianna. And it was very much a shit on Brianna 3-page expose about her former friend Brianna. So essentially, Grace O'Malley is taking Brianna, who's already really being hated online, and exposing her even more. This is her former best friend since they were children. Because Brianna had already, Brie said she had planned to bring it back with new hosts. I didn't know that, but I guess Brie did. So because Brianna is already hated online, with the Zach Bryan, with the Reddit, with everything. And then Grace is loved online. And she looks like the underdog in the fact that she feels like, she was being treated badly by the ex-boyfriend. Her friend didn't do anything to help her or stand up for her. And now she comes out and says, now enough. Like, my friend kind of wasn't there for me. She came out and she exposed her as this horrible, bad friend. The world, the internet just went off on Brianna chicken fry, more so than ever. So Dave Portnoy comes online today and he's like doing this long video and he's like, this is crazy. I feel so bad for Brianna. I love Grace and I love Brianna, but Brianna has really gotten so much hate online and she needs the defending right now. But you guys online are so awful and with so much hate towards Brianna. And I know that you guys think I want to fuck her. I know you guys think I love her. I know you guys think I'm obsessed with her. And that's not the case. They're both my employees, or she was my employee. Grace was my employee, but she quit yesterday. So Grace O'Malley finally quit last night. She posted it online that she quit. She actually made it sound like she was fired, but she quit. There was receipts about it. And he goes, and I understand why she wanted to do that. He goes, but the hate is out of control. It's really bad. Now, a lot of you guys are saying, I can't stand Brie. Andrew says, I can't stand her. I'm curious if you guys are into this. Who don't you like and who do you like? I don't know Grace O'Malley enough. So now I have to really start listening and getting to know and see whose personality I like more. I don't think Dave Portnoy likes Brie in that way. I think Dave Portnoy has a strong heart and I think he fights for an underdog. Usually that's my gut feeling. And I think he thinks that Brie is an underdog. But if Brie is a problematic person and wasn't standing up for her friend when her boyfriend was a dick to her, then that's a bad friend, right? And a lot of you guys are saying that That's what she did. She wasn't standing up to her. So, okay, Bree was trying to make a new version of Plan Bree to keep her producers employed in the meantime while her and Grace figured shit out. Interesting. Bree should have talked to Grace. She also was DMing everyone, talking so much shit about Grace, and Bree's response was so crazy. You can see how their friendship was one-sided. So you think Bree, oh yeah, Bree was also talking a lot badly and it was exposed. She was like DMing a lot of people really bad things about her friend. So it does sound like they were both kind of being bad friends to each other. I think Grace was almost being a better friend to Bree, but she did expose her really badly, but maybe she had just had enough at that point. Christina says Team Grace because she's funny and she stayed quiet for the longest until they kept talking about it. Dave is loyal to his people, Sarah says. Interesting. Asif says Dave fights for whoever makes him more money. Andrew says Bree started resenting Grace since she started gaining popularity on her own without Bree. Interesting. Yeah, like the Zach Bryan, but the Zach Bryan ruined their friendship. Zach Bryan, like this is how toxic men get in between good friendships. Ray says, actually Team Grace right now based on what you're saying. No hate towards Bree, but it sounds like Bree is just trying to get out from under the hate. I love Grace. I constantly feel bad for her. They're both being 25-year-olds. Can we call it what it is? It's so true. It's so true. I do feel like we're back to Tom Sandoval and Victoria's relationship. Like, should we bring Todd back for this? This does feel like a Todd moment. This is unbecoming. It sounds like my HOA. Okay, we will learn more about the situation. We'll get more into it, but this was a fun episode. This really was random. I feel like I got on a drone and I've just landed back on a drone. Andrew believes this will be the next Call Her Daddy fallout, and he believes actually that Grace O'Malley will be the next Alex Cooper and Bree will be the next Sophia with an F because he thinks that Grace O'Malley will end up rising to the top. She will sign with a huge company by Christmas is what he thinks. Let's take it. Let's bet. You think that Grace will sign with a huge company by Christmas, and I think Allie Lewber will move back in with James Kennedy by New Year's. Let's see if this is true. I love you guys. What a crazy random episode. Oh my gosh. See you guys tomorrow. We'll talk Beverly Hills and Roni. Love you guys. Bye.